Hey, what is going on, guys? It's the SS Ultimate Goku back to another video, and I'm gonna be doing an AEW Revolution's result review of the card. Um, Very interesting card there. Um, Good overall pay-per-view. A lot of the endings were pretty, I thought, dumb, but nonetheless, overall, I did like the matches and I liked a lot of the wrestling that was going on. Um, but we'll get to this. I have the full thing out in this case if I miss somebody here, because I'm not that familiar with all these wrestlers that are in there for AEW. But I know most of them. Some of the WWE wrestlers, by the way, that are in AEW, I will be referring to them as their WWE names, just so you know. But let's get to this card here. Like I said, definitely, I will say this right now. This is much better than anything WWE has come out with last year or this year. So if you want good quality wrestling, I highly recommend AEW because WWE doesn't really know how to book anything anymore when it comes to actually having good wrestling. Well, in some cases. Most cases, but there are some, with some exceptional matches here and there from WWE. Overall, cards are never that good, though. Raw and SmackDown has been unwatchable for the most part. SmackDown's been the only interesting thing, with the exception of Bray Wyatt, The Fiend, and Orton's storyline on Raw. But everything else has been pretty garbage on Raw. But let's get to this card here. So first they had the pre-match. And that was Dr. Bree Baker, and I'm gonna butcher this, so bear with me. Mikayo Owl versus Roshhole and Thunder Rose. Solid tag team match. They, did the thing. Basically, Rachel was like Rebel was the manager, and she, she was faking an injury there so she can get out of the match. She got the Jacksonville doctors to get, her medically out, so they replaced her with the Mako person. It was an okay tag match. The match ended with the Rebel basically hitting their opponent with the crutch, which set up Dr. Baker to win. 1, 2, 3. Match ended. It was a okay match there. A solid pre-match that was like a 2 2.25 star match. It was okay. Solid pre-match. Then we get to the first match of the night, and that was the Young Bucks versus the Inner Circle's Chris Jericho and MJF with Wardlow. Good match. A lot of up and down, back and forth action. You know what I mean there. Chris Jericho, got a lot of offense in. He even did a code breaker spot. There was a little kind of mess up there when one of the Young Bucks jumped, into the ring, and he kind of didn't jump far enough, and he fell down, and the freaking Jericho kind of recovered it by instantly putting the Laws of Jericho in it. There. So there were a couple of things, but they were really doing really good. There was really good pacing for it. There was a false finish when Jericho, hit one of the Young Bucks with the bat. there, and it looked like MJF was going to get the win, but they kicked out. I was really pissed off about that because I wanted Jericho and MJF to win. Then Jericho accidentally hit Warlord with the Judas effect. And the match ended with Jericho getting tombstoned or whatever. Like tombstone, with Young Bucks did the thing with the rope and then the tombstone thing there. 1, 2, 3. 3-star match. Solid match there. Very good tag team wrestling. You don't get to really see that in WWE these days because they don't know how to book tag teams ever. Good match. Like I said, there was some dissension because there was a promo later on where they said they're going to have like this meeting basically to decide the future of the Inner Circle, and then MJF, kind of chimes in there and says, yeah, we definitely need to make some changes. So it seems like they're going to break up, which would suck because the Inner Circle is Chris Jericho's creation. I don't want MJF to take it over. I'll be really pissed by that. So yeah, there's that. Next, we basically had like a tag team Royal Rumble. That was basically what it was, and the winner got a future AEW Tag Team Championship match, which would be against the Young Bucks because they successfully retained their titles in the previous match there. So basically, the rule was basically like what a Rumble is. The only difference is if one of your tag team partners gets eliminated, your team's still in the match as long as you still stay in. Once the other person gets eliminated, then their team is gone. So both members of your team has to be eliminated for your team to be eliminated, basically. So it's basically a tag team Royal Rumble match there. It was an interesting concept there, I guess. The match ended where they had Neville basically, Neville and his partner Ray basically were the last people in there, and then you had one of the Jungle Boy people in there, and he eliminates Neville, and then Ray eliminates him, and they win. It was okay. There was interesting spots, but I just really was weird by it because it was a tag team Royal Rumble, and it was very confusing to follow because they were like, if someone got eliminated from your team, you were still in. It just was kind of weird concept there, you know what I mean? I give that a 2-star match. So yeah, 2 stars for that one. So next, and again, I'm probably butchering this, Hikio Shida versus Wayo Mizaki, I think they called her. It was for the AEW Women's World Championship. I really haven't been invested in the women's division for AEW. Mostly the SmackDown women's division is the best right now in wrestling, in my opinion. That's the one area I think is good for the women's division with Sasha Banks. I've not been really impressed with AEW's women's division. They did what they could. It was an okay match. There's nothing wrong with the match quality for this, but just I don't feel like they do enough storytelling with the women, with the women's division. So they really, I think, need to work on that. Sheeta won the match with like, it was a weird ending. First of all, the commentators incorrectly stated what her finishing move was, which I guess that might just be what they call it, but that was a Shining Wizard. But I don't know. Maybe they changed it over the past couple of years, but that was a Shining Wizard. But okay. And she kicked out of it, and then they freaking, like, then she just, like, pinned her. 1, 2, 3, and the match ended. I was just like, that's it. And then Nia Rose came out with Vicky Guerrero. Vicky Guerrero was her manager. And they started attacking, and then the people from the pre-tag team match started coming out, and then Dr. Baker, and the Nia Rose were like staring at each other, and then they just started attacking them because they were both heels. 1.5 star. I wasn't really that impressed with the match. And I just didn't really like the ending. I thought the ending was pretty stupid. the ending should have ended with the Shining Wizard. Like, she kicked out, and then she just, like, pinned her, like, about a couple seconds later with, like a roll-up type pin, with, like, really hardly doing anything. So, yeah, that was kind of dumb. Like, they should have just ended it with the Shining Wizard. So, next, we have Rusev, Kip, Sebastian, taking on Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor. So the match starts with Rusev basically attacking them both backstage. He starts attacking Chuck, and they go into the ring, and then they freaking just like say, you know, you need to give up now. You need to give up. He's like, no, I'm not going to give up. And they start the match. It was a pretty solid match, especially once Orange Cassidy came out. They start doing their things. Orange Cassidy eventually did his little kick thing, and then Rusev basically clotheslined them and got him out of there. There was some distractions, which led to Rusev pushing. Was it Orange? I don't remember if it was Orange or Chuck, but he pushed one of them into the girlfriend of Kip. And one thing I like that AEW did here, because this is something WWE would not have done in this situation, is they actually acknowledged that Rusev wasn't the legal man. And, like, he basically went outside the ring and told his partner, hey, you got to get up there so I can make the tag with you. And so then they do the tag there. And then Rusev, not too long after that, puts him in the camel clutch and makes Chuck tap out by submission. 3-star match. I did like it. Thought it was a really good match. Solid ending, I thought. And it kind of have like a storytelling type thing that they can kind of tell going out of this, that, you know, Rusev and Kip could have some type of dissension because, you know, he put his girlfriend in harm's way, so you got that dissension there. Pretty good storytelling, I thought, as well. So next we have Hangman Adam Page taking on Big Money Matt Hardy. The story of this was basically some contract dispute where basically Matt Hardy wanted to dupe Adam into signing a contract where he got 30% of his earnings because he was going to make more money. And Adam basically switched the contracts and forced Matt Hardy to sign a contract where he would take him on at Revolution, and if he beat Matt Hardy at Revolution, he would receive 100% of the 2021 first quarter earnings from Matt Hardy. So that was the story that they were going with. Not a bad storyline, I guess, but basically, the match was very solid. It was probably one of the more better solid matches in this card. So if you want like your standard wrestling type matches, this was it. There was some dissension. With Matt Hardy doing the cheating tactics because Matt Hardy's a heel now. And Matt Hardy basically did the twist of fate after distraction from the tag team recruits he had. That doesn't finish him off. Adam Page recovers. The Dark Order comes out, assists him, and he gets his finishing move in. 1, 2, 3. Match is over. Adam Page wins. This was a 3.5 stars, I thought. Probably the better match on the card, I think. It was a solid match. Personally, I wish they would have Matt Hardy still doing his broken gimmick. I know Matt Hardy had said it was mainly because of fans not being around anymore, but I don't understand why that's an issue because obviously, most of his Ultimate Deletion matches are not in front of fans as well as his vignettes. So I don't understand that concept. I personally think he should just go back to doing the broken character. But this is what they're doing right now with Matt. Yeah. Solid match. So, next they had the basically ladder match that basically decided who was going to be the number one contender for the AEW TNT champion, which is basically the Intercontinental or US title. It's basically the mid-card title. So we had the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes with Arn Anderson. We had Pedro El Zero Mudron. Probably butchered that. We had Lance Archer with Jake the Snake Roberts. We had Max Cater, Elfin Page, and then we also had Scorpion Sky. A lot of spots were in this match. Cody Rhodes had like a wounded shoulder, and there was even an issue where when he took a Death Driver bump off the ladder, which was insane, which took him out for most of the match. He eventually comes back. There was a lot of back and forth action. Archer, ladder hits. You had your lots of good ladder match action. The match actually ended between Cody and Scorpion Sky. Scorpion Sky basically, I guess, said something to Cody as he pushed him off the ladder, and then he grabbed the brass ring. Yes, they literally took a golden inner tube and made it the brass ring. And yeah, he had the brass ring, won the match, and will get a future title shot against Darby Allin. This was a 3-star match. I did like a lot of the ladder bumps that they took with this. And there was definitely a lot of interesting stuff that they were doing. It was kind of weird, like the one ladder broke. Like Scorpion Sky went through like a ladder after Vance booted him off there, and he went through it. Which I thought was really weird. The ladder broke on that, but it didn't break on the one when Cody took the bump from the Death Driver. That's my take on that one. So next, we had the tag match, Darby Allin and Sting teaming up to take on Team Taz Brian Cage and Ricky Starks with Taz. Now we're going to get to that in a second because there was a lot of confusion with this. So this was a street fight match, but it turns out this was actually a cinematic street fight match, which I don't think they told us that this was going to happen. So this ended up being a cinematic match. Now, they say it was with Taz, but it really wasn't because Taz was on commentary, which made it look really stupid because Taz is the manager of the team of Brian Cage and Ricky Starks, so he should have been there in the cinematic match, and that match was not live. So, that match was clearly not live when they were doing the comment. The commentary was live, but or at least I think it was. But the match was not live, and so it made it look really stupid that Taz would be right there, but not with, the team that he's managing. Like, I mean, we all knew it wasn't live, but it makes it even look more obvious to people that might not know that are younger or something like that. It was like, wait, why is Taz commentating when he should be the manager for the team? You know what I mean? It just kind of was stupid. Overall, the cinematic match was pretty good. A lot of good weapons. There was a lot of bat bumps from Sting. Sting did his fair share of stuff. There was an insane glass thing that they did with Darby Allin, which I thought was kind of unique. Sting actually threw Brian Cage off the freaking the story or whatever, in that big hole pile thing. Sting ultimately got the win by pinning Ricky Starks with the Sting driver. Yeah, it was a good match. And they also had the patent Stinger splash. No Scorpion Deathlock. No, they didn't do the Scorpion Deathlock. Nope, they did not do the Scorpion Deathlock, which I wish they would have. But it was because it was cinematic, because it was a cinematic match. That's why. But they did do the Stinger Splash. They did do the friggin' they used the bat bumps. They actually had the bat break. The bat actually broke. One of the bats actually broke. Which I thought was kind of funny. because Sting looked at it after he broke it. He was like, what? And then he just got the shovel and was like, okay, I'll just use the shovel. So yeah, Sting looked pretty good in that, but again, it was a cinematic match. They did have a ring, but they didn't really use it that much. So yeah, they really took the literal sense of a street fight, I guess, out of this. But I don't think they really kind of hyped it up that way. But yeah, that's what they did. I'm gonna give that a 3-star match, because I did like the cinematic thing, and I did like the way they worked, and I thought Sting looked really good as well as a lot of the spots. But again, it's a cinematic match, and there's not that much you can do with it. The commentary again was stupid because again, Taz shouldn't have been there. He should have been with them in the match as the manager. But yeah. Alright, so the main event, we had Kenny Omega versus Dean Ambrose for the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Kenny Omega defending. Now, the story going into this was really good. Dean Ambrose had been the champion for a long time, and then was cheated out of the title in AEW Dynamite thanks to Don Callis, who was one of the TNA executives or whatever. He was on commentary for this, and this was the exploding barbed wire death match, the first one ever in the U.S. There was one in, I guess, Japan 25 years ago, but I never seen that one. And Yeah, because WWE will never do this. WWE didn't do this in when they could have done it in the Attitude Era, and definitely not going to do it now. Um, so, um, so my thoughts on this. So first and foremost, I want to say, uh, good on both Dean and Kenny for doing the match itself, because obviously this is not something that you can easily duplicate. Um, but the biggest flaw of this match was the rules they set for, because they explicitly said the rules multiple times throughout the show. And then when we got to commentary, the commentary was completely off the rails with the rules. Like I believe it was JR had said early on in the match that if any body part touches the barbed wire, the explosions will go off. Okay? They said it like a few times, like at the start of the match. And then it would happen, and none of the explosions would go off on that side. Like if you would go into the table or whatever, right? The table with the barbed wires, the explosion should have gone off, because they said that all the barbed wires are tripped. So if you touch that, obviously you're going to touch some of the barbed wire on that side. So the explosion should have gone off. And they were saying that multiple times early on in the commentary, which I was like, well, yeah, it should then. Also, there was one part of the rope, one part of the side where you could enter in where there was no barbed wire in there. That was misleading too, because they did say it was going to be on all the sides as well. And then the ending was not good either. I thought the ending was a very weak ending, but we'll get to that in a sec. So Dean Ambrose and Kenny Omega, they go back and forth. Dean bleeded profusely in this match. Kenny eventually bled as well too. They went outside the ring in the one spot where they could. There was table bumps for both guys on both tables that were put up. They brought weapons into the ring. They used not thumbtack. They used the kendo stick. They used the trash can. Dean eventually basically splatted Kenny Omega through a table outside of the ring where all the landmines are supposed to be. The fireworks that went off were nowhere near where Dean and Kenny were, which that doesn't mean that couldn't have affected them. I'm not saying that, but obviously it didn't remotely affect them right away because it didn't physically hit them. So it wasn't really as, barbed wire scary as they would make it. Obviously, you have to keep the talent safe, but they really kind of misled a lot of people with this match, because a lot of the fireworks weren't even remotely close to them. I thought the tables that were outside the ring were going to have landmines on them. So I was really scared, because I thought we were going to see a huge freaking explosion right when Dean and Kenny went through that table spot outside the ring. And that didn't happen. The match pretty much wrapped up where Kenny Omega went for his finishing move, which they had said that no one had ever kicked out of it. So Dean Ambrose actually got his foot on the rope, which the commentator said he didn't, what he did. But at the same time, he tripped the barbed wire, which the barbed wire went off and I guess blinded Kenny Omega. Also, the referee was wearing protective stuff. So then Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows came out to basically assist Kenny Omega. They give him the barbed wire bat, and they smack it over Dean Ambrose. It actually explodes a little bit. And basically, he goes for the cover. He kicks out, and Kenny Omega is living by this. He actually ripped one of the straps off of the referee's sleeve or whatever from his shirt, and then he basically gives his finishing move again. This time on a chair, and that's it. 1, 2, 3. The match is over. Very weak ending. I did not like the ending. I did not like that he interfered in the match. I did not like the interferences in the match. I know it was a no DQ match since there was no rules, but I mean, the whole idea of the match was supposed to be to not have them involved since they won the match that way. So I didn't really like the ending. I was kind of disappointed. And then, of course, the explosion was 5 minutes before. Because after 30 minutes, the explosion was supposed to go off all corners of the ring. I was very disappointed by that it did not happen during the match. Now they still ended up going off. They kept saying, "Oh, they're still going to go off," and so they end up going off, but they don't go off very well. The way they went off was pretty cruddy. There was a guy who came out. Kingston. Kingston came out and basically tried to get Dean Ambrose out because he was being handcuffed, and there was only 20 seconds left. Everyone left the ring. Kenny celebrated with the title. And then, Dean was handcuffed, so then Kingston came out and basically covered him up or whatever, and then the fireworks went off. They weren't special at all. There was nothing even special about them. The fireworks could have gone off much better than the way they did, and it still wouldn't have hurt them. And honestly, the fireworks did not really affect them at all because it didn't even touch them, but they were selling, I guess, the story that I guess they were blinded by it because, Kingston was knocked out too from it. Obviously, Dean had just went through a whole match, so it makes sense of why he'd be knocked out, but obviously the fireworks had no impact unless they went deaf, in the ears. The fireworks were nowhere near. Them. Kingston was selling that he was knocked out from it as well. So I guess he's turning face, because wasn't he a heel not too long ago? Some of the heels and the faces are kind of inconsistent with AEW, but yeah, it was, I don't know, the ending just really was weak. Overall, I did like the match concept, but there was just things that were very inconsistent with the match, and I guess it's because they wanted to protect the talent. They didn't want to really screw stuff up, so they kind of were more with the book with this match. Trying to be healthy, but at the same time, it really just made everything really confusing. The commentators really confused everybody with all these barbed wires. If you touch them, it's gonna trip it off, which it doesn't. Multiple times, it only is tripped off when they need it to be tripped off. So kind of limited the unpredictability of the match. I'd give it, again, 3 stars. Most of these were all 3-star matches. But the weak ending just kind of, I just didn't like that weak ending. I would have rather seen, Dean go for a finisher, get it. It just, in the whole, having, them in there and no one comes in. I would have rather seen Kingston come out to kind of help Dean in the match. You know, even if he doesn't end up winning, I would have rather seen that better. To even the odds, because I just thought the whole, him, having the Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows in there, again, and no one helping him out. I just thought kind of ruined it, because it was the same ending that we got the first time around, just in a barbed wire death match. So yeah, that's kind of where my gripes were with that. So yeah, that was the card. Overall, what we get? Like, we give it a. I give it a 7 out of 10. It was very entertaining. It was better than anything you get from WWE these days, for sure. This probably will be better than the WrestleMania, though. It's just more stars that will know better with WrestleMania. But this was definitely probably going to be a better card overall than what we get at WrestleMania 37 this year. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this event. What do you guys like? What do you guys like? What do you not like? Let me know. Comment, rate. If you like my videos, please subscribe. Discord link in the description. And that's about it, guys. I am the SS Ultimate Goku. Moderator. Peace! And also, one more thing I forgot to mention is the mystery person, and that is that Christian is back in AEW, or not back in AEW. He's back. He's just signed with AEW. I'm sorry. So Christian, who's now Christian Cage, I forgot to mention that because that was Big Show's big reveal. Big Show said that he was someone that could out-wrestle everyone. That was his hint. A lot of people were guessing, CM Punk, Kurt Angle, pretty much the whole kitchen sink. Christian kind of surprised me, because I thought he was under contract still with WWE. He had just wrestled in the Royal Rumble just last January, which was like 2 months ago. So I thought for sure that Christian would be I thought Christian for sure would have stayed with WWE, but that is not the case. Christian came out and he did his I think his music that he was using was his TNA music. I didn't watch that much. I didn't watch much TNA, but I think that was his TNA music. I'm surprised they're going by Christian Cage and not just going by Christian. But yeah, Christian is back, and he was the big reveal. Hopefully Christian will get a world title match, because I think Christian still got a lot to show for. He was kind of forced into retirement with WWE years ago. And I think he can do a lot for AEW. And hopefully he'll get one more match at being the world champion. So yeah, that's my take. Again, I apologize. I completely forgot to mention that, because I was just going through the entire matches. But yeah, guys, now I'm out of here. Let me know what you guys think of all the matches, as well as what you think about the big reveal of Christian Cage. Christian being on AEW, and what do you think he's going to do? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Also, again, hit the notification bell for all the latest contents and whatnot. And that is about it, guys. Now I'm out. I am the SS Ultimate Goku. Moderator. Peace.